This is macOS Ken.
Apple ups and downs in India. Messi more than doubles MLS subscriptions. And support from Apple amid the wildfires on Maui. It is Friday, the 11th of August, 2023. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from macOS Ken. Brought to you by yours truly and supported by people like you. Patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSKen. One reason for Apple to be excited about India and one reason for it to be worried. We'll start with the story I missed last week while being battered by the dreaded virus. Back on Thursday, the 3rd of August, IDC said that iPhone sales in India shot up like a rocket in the first half of this year, even as smartphones as a whole slid by 10%. So much of what IDC sees backs that up. Phones under $200 US commanded 65% of the Indian market, down from 70% a year earlier. Phones between $200 and $400 retained their 22% share year-on-year. Phones between $400 and $600 held a 5% share, up 34% versus the second quarter of 2022. And phones costing $600 or more held a 9% share, up 75% year-on-year. The two biggest growers, nothing kinky, were OnePlus and iPhone. They both grew 61% year-on-year, though iPhone's growth is more impressive. With its average selling price of $346 US, OnePlus sits at the lower end of the mid-range. Meanwhile, iPhone's ASP of $929 puts it at "I can see my house from here" heights. For smartphones as a whole, IDC sees growth for 2023 as possible, though unlikely. An IDC VP says a combo of affordable 5G launches, pre-orders, loyalty and upgrade program promotions, and promotions tied to the festive season might pull smartphones in India into growth for the year, though holding your breath would not be advised. For iPhone, though, things look promising. One of the research managers in IDC's India arm was quoted as saying, "Consumers are opting for premium offerings driven by easy and affordable financing options. IDC expects this growth momentum to continue in the upcoming months in 2023. As for the reason to worry, well, worry is a strong word, though regulators there can be a bit capricious. Here's part of a story from TechCrunch that ran on Wednesday, the 2nd of August, when it was already Thursday, the 3rd of August in India. It said, India restricted import of laptops, servers, and many other consumer electronic devices on Thursday, saying it will impose a licensing permit for imports, in a move analysts say appears to be aimed at boosting the local manufacturing efforts. That was announced on Thursday, the 3rd of August, and meant to go into effect on Thursday, the 3rd of August, though another report from TechCrunch had regulators dialing that back a day or two later. In a notification published late Friday, the 4th of August, the piece says the Ministry of Commerce and Industry said the implementation of the new import rule won't go into effect until the 31st of October. Capricious. And likely already disruptive. The second TechCrunch report had Bloomberg indicating that vendors including Dell, Apple, and Samsung promptly moved to comply with the notification Thursday and froze all new imports. No doubt they're moving again now, but these things don't stop and turn on a dime. Anyway, they don't usually. Speaking of cross-border manufacturing, let's see what's new at the TSMC plant in Arizona. Hey, look at that! It's nationalism. Yesterday, we recapped a number of problems around the semiconductor facility being built by the Taiwanese company in the Grand Canyon state. They include not having enough qualified workers to build the plant, at least according to TSMC, wanting to bring in construction workers from Taiwan to speed up the process, and pushing chip production at the plant from 2024 to 2025. There's also been talk of unreported injuries and deaths at the gigantic construction site, and calls to Congress by at least one Arizona union to keep Taiwanese construction workers off the U.S. project. Well, you know what this story needs? Internet trolls. And the piece from 9 to 5 Mac says it's got 'em. According to that report, the latest development has seen a popular Taiwanese YouTube channel accuse U.S. workers of laziness, with anti-American insults also posted to a local Facebook group. Facebook? But it's such a healthy... The YouTube thing sounds ludicrous. 9 to 5 Mac says the video, entitled "Can a Photo Ruin TSMC?", features a photo claiming to be a U.S. worker at the plant, sitting down on the ground and scrolling through his phone. While the implication is that he is slacking off from work, there's no way to know whether the photo is genuine, and if so, whether the worker is on the clock or on a break. Sounds dumb, doesn't it? Well, the Taiwanese YouTube channel has almost 3 million subscribers, about 12% of the country's population, according to 9 to 5 Mac. Meanwhile, another Arizona union is said to have posted screen grabs from a popular Taiwanese forum featuring anti-American insults against U.S. workers. Otherwise, it sounds like things are going great. Apple's latest macOS Ventura update seems to have a location permissions issue. The piece from iDownload blog says the 24th of July release of macOS Ventura 13.5 seems to have borked controls for those permissions. According to the report, affected customers are not seeing the usual list of apps to which they have given location permissions. They're also not being given the option to grant or remove those permissions at this point. The piece says the bug does not affect older versions of Ventura, nor does it affect the various Sonoma betas floating around. Apple has yet to acknowledge the issue, so no telling when a fix might be in. Lionel Messi has grown MLS Season Pass subscriptions double XL. We don't have real numbers, but we do know by roughly how much the numbers we don't have grown. Jorge Mas, managing owner of Messi's Major League Soccer team InterMiami, hit Twitter on Thursday with the following: "The Messi effect is real. Subscribers to MLS Season Pass on Apple TV have more than doubled since Messi joined InterMiami. Also, Spanish language viewership on MLS Season Pass on Apple TV has surpassed over 50% for Messi matches and continues to rise. How exciting for a truly global fan base." So how many subs are we talking? Well, a piece from 9 to 5 Mac says it may be close to a couple million. According to that report, industry sources have indicated that MLS Season Pass was close to reaching the 1 million subscriber milestone before Messi's arrival. Factoring that into Thursday's announcement of subscribers doubling would suggest MLS Season Pass now has more than 2 million paying subscribers. And finally today, if you're like me, you can't get your head around what's happening in Hawaii. Island paradise and wildfires don't seem like terms that should sit in the same sentence. Seriously hard to get your head around. As of this writing, CNN says at least 55 people on Maui have been killed by a series of fast-moving blazes. There are stories of people fleeing to other islands for safety. There are stories of people fleeing to the ocean for safety. And there's at least one story of people turning to their iPhone for safety. Cult of Mac has word of a family saved by first responders who were summoned through iPhone's emergency SOS via satellite. A Twitter user posted screenshots of the conversation between folks caught in a van in the fires on Maui, and Apple's truly life-saving service. Those screenshots were attached to the message. My brother's girlfriend's cousin and his family were caught in their vehicle in Maui while the wildfires suddenly erupted around them. No cell service, so Apple Emergency SOS was the only way they could get in contact with first responders. Literally saved their lives. Of course, the emergency is bigger than one family, bigger than one story, and bigger than Apple. But Apple has pledged help. On the same day others were heralding the SOS story, Apple CEO Tim Cook took to Twitter saying, "Our hearts are with the families who have lost loved ones and everyone impacted by the devastating wildfires on Maui and the island of Hawaii. We are deeply grateful to all of the first responders. Apple will be donating to immediate relief and long-term recovery efforts." macOS Can, brought to you by me and supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOScan. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macoscan.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Can. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.